Hello and good day to everyone. I'm Masoom from CBG Qatar. I work here at CBG Qatar as a senior engineer. My roles and responsibilities include establishing and maintaining relationships with clients and offering technical solutions to the problems that they have, and generally expanding our business here in Qatar and Saudi Arabia. So, in my time here, I've been able to interact with a lot of professionals in the industry and sort of gained a sense of what works when it comes to reaching out to people or businesses, how to follow up with individuals, and what works when it comes to interacting with people. I believe this information would be greatly helpful for job seekers, so I decided to work on a small session covering a few strategies that would help you improve outcomes from the job search process that you're going through. So, I'll be covering the strategies one by one, initially starting off with the limitations of the job search process that you currently are going through, and how to improve these processes and thereby improving the outcomes. So I'll share my screen now and let's get started. So starting off, I'll go through the content that I'll be covering today. So as I mentioned, I'll be going through our general job search process and the issues that we face in this process. So what we're going to do is we're going to tackle these issues one by one and make sure that we've got all the bases covered. So let's get right into it. There's basically two issues that individuals face, which I'll be covering. Is number one is how to find relevant opportunities and connections. So I'll be introducing you to a simple operator based search in Google and LinkedIn, which is called Boolean search. And I'll also be introducing you to a third party website essentially, that I use in my day-to-day operations here to connect with businesses and individuals. So it's a business to business platform, but it can also be used by individuals when it comes to their job search as well. And then I'll be covering how to reach out to professionals and recruiters once you've, let's say, applied for certain opportunities. So I'll be going through the right approach when it comes to interacting with individuals, how to craft the right message, and how to maintain a two-sided conversation. So starting off, so what is our general job search process? So that's a question, right? So we need to detail the process in order to know what is wrong with the process. So what do we usually do? So we go out, we search for relevant roles. Let's say I want to work as a site engineer or as a quantity surveyor. I'll search for that relevant role I'll search it in Google, I'll search it in all the relevant job search websites. Let's say, for example, websites that are relevant here, including Indeed, Naukri Gulf, Glassdoor. So I'll go to these websites, I'll go to Google, I'll search for opportunities, and I'll apply for all the opportunities that I find. And then once that's done, so we need to follow up, right? So what we do is we'll either find the company details in Google, and we'll call up the companies, and then we'll ask them if there's any update, or we'll try and find someone in our contacts who can who's in the organization, so that we can call them directly and ask them the status of our application. Or we can directly call companies and inquire if there are any opportunities that are available. So that's how our general job search process is. So either job search platforms or LinkedIn, or we'll do a general search in Google. So that ends there. So the issue is that the process generally ends there. So you'll just apply and then you have nobody to follow up with. So that's a major issue. And also what you get is you get unsatisfactory results. So you'll find dated openings. So you'll be searching for a job, let's say in September of 2024, and you'll find results that are in April, March. So that is a scenario that we do not want. We want to find jobs that match exactly what we are looking for, and also our new openings, because the old openings, definitely they must have closed by now. So the number one issue that we face is dated openings and not finding relevant openings. So let's say you find a relevant opening and you apply, and then we face the other issues that I spoke about. That is, you don't know who to follow up with, and you don't know where you lack, because you're not getting any feedback, right? So the strategies that I'm going to present is to cover these issues specifically. So number one, when it comes to finding proper opportunities, and number two, when it comes to getting an update on your applications, and let's say getting feedback on your applications. So let's move right into it. So the first strategy that I'm going to let you in on is a Boolean search strategy. So Boolean search is a type of search that involves just simple logic based words and symbols to sort of narrow down or broaden your search as you want. So I'll not waste your time explaining exactly the technical aspects of it. We'll go right into an example so that you understand how it works, and then I'll get back to some sort of technical aspects so that you know more about how, in case you want to refine your search further, you can get back right into it. So without further ado, so this is sort of a Boolean search that I've sort of just written down easily. So let's say you're looking for a quantity surveyor opening, or an estimator opening, or a contracts engineer opening. So you're open to all of these opportunities, and we are using a very important operator called after, which means you'll only see job search results that come after this date. So I'll just go on to Google itself and I'll show you how this works. So I paste this opportunity, right? As you can see the date here, it works in a year, month, day format. So as you can see here, it's 02, which means it's February, but we're in September at the moment. So I'd like my opportunities, all the opportunities that are posted after September. So I'll just put this in here and I'll click. So once you see, you'll find all the job openings that that are relevant to the roles that I've mentioned that were posted after September 1st. So you can see there's a contracts engineer role that was posted just 1 day ago. There was a quantity surveyor estimator role that was just posted 17 days ago, and so on and so forth. So you can see there's an estimation engineer role that was just posted 5 days ago. There was a senior estimation engineer role, once again, that was posted just 4 days ago. There's an assistant quantity surveyor role that was posted 6 days ago. So the point that I'm trying to make is that just by a single Google search, what you'll do is you'll find all the relevant opportunities in just one single search. And the great thing about this is that it's not just, it combines the searches from all these job search websites that I spoke about earlier. So these are job postings relevant to Doha because they've automatically detected my location. But let's say wherever you are from, if you put this search in, what they'll do is they'll bring up all the job opportunities that are based in your area. So as you can see here, these job openings are from Naukri Gulf, these are from Indeed, these are from carriers, and from the actual company themselves. This is from oil and gas job search, this is from Jubal. So all these postings were done in the span of these 20 days, let's say between September 1 and the day that I'm recording, that is September 21st. So how did this work? So how was I able to find everything? So now this changes the scenario completely. Now you don't have to go to every single website and search for job descriptions, search for your job role. This saves a lot of time, right? So how was I able to do this? Now let's get back to the technical aspect to see how I came up with this search, right? So as I said earlier, Boolean operators are simple logic-based words or symbols. So as you can see here, there's a bracket operator here, which groups certain terms. So let's say you would be open to working as a site engineer or as a technical office engineer. So in that case, you can use an OR operator here to combine the terms, and then you can use a bracket to group those search terms. So let's say the first term will be grouped with the second term after the bracket. So let's say site or technical office engineer. If you replace computer and electrical with these two terms and you enter engineer after this, you'll get the job openings for two of these roles. And then again, you have double quotes. So if you'd like, the job roles that you want in an exact order. So how that works is, let's say you're only looking for entry level roles. So in this case, for example, if you include entry level in double quotes, it will show job roles that only, are offered to entry level candidates. So in this case, for example, let's say you can include this entry level term with the double quotes, and you can add any opening that you would be interested in. So let's say, as I said in my earlier example, whether you want to be a quantity surveyor or a site engineer. So once this is added, only all the entry level posts will be visible to you. So once again, if you want to exclude, let's say, certain job roles. So if you don't want senior level roles, you can just use a simple hyphen, and then you can write the terms that you do not want. And once again, we come to one of the most important operators that we're going to be using, which is the after operator. So as I said, the after operator works such that only the opportunities after the date that you've mentioned will be visible to you, or will be, it will be filtered out accordingly. So let's say if I'm using after and I include today's date, or let's say the beginning of the month, just so that an opportunities that have been posted this month are visible to me. So if I included first of whichever month I'm searching, only those opportunities will be visible. And another important term that can help you is the and operator. So this also in a sense helps you find, let's say based off of seniority level, you can find roles using the and operator. So a simple example, as you can see, is like if you want a senior level civil engineer role, you can add civil engineer and in double quotes, so that that exact term is reflected in the search result, and you can add senior level. So if you add this add operator and operator, only opportunities with both of these terms included will be visible to you. Or in case, let's say you don't mind different types of roles, let's say you can work as a quantity surveyor or as a site engineer, you can use the or term to separate all the job roles you want, and all of those postings will be reflected. So in this example that I've shown you, now we can dissect this and see how I've made this search essentially. So in the bracket, I'm an individual who can work as a quantity surveyor or an estimation or as an estimation engineer, but I want this term to be exactly how it is. I want quantity surveyor roles, proper quantity surveyor roles. So I've included that in double quotes, and I've included an or operator, which means I'm fine to work as an estimator or as an estimation engineer or as a contracts engineer or as any of these roles, as I mentioned. So what I've done is I've included all these roles, I've separated them with or operators, and then I have grouped them, because I have another operator coming up after this, because I need to use an after operator as well to make sure that I get proper relevant opportunities, but they should also be, let's say at least posted in the same month that I'm in right now. So once this is done, you can see how easily you get all these opportunities. And a major part of us going and searching for jobs, let's say in job platforms and in Google, and switching between 5 to 10 different sites, all that headache is removed, because now you get all the job opportunities just like that. And what you can do is you can just click this directly, and you'll be redirected to whichever page has posted the job. And there's one more thing that you can do, which how it works is that if you click this follow button, let's say if I'm clicking this follow button, I'll get daily emails if there are any new opportunities available. So this is a huge thing as well, because now you don't have to go every 2 or 3 days and run this search. What it will essentially do is, based off of the search, if there are any new job openings that are coming in, they'll send an email to you. And these emails are daily emails. So if there's any job opportunity today, you will get the email today itself. So that is great in that sense, because now there's one more advantage that you get, is that you will be one of the first people to apply. So generally, if let's say people are searching, they might be a day or two late in finding that new opportunity that has come up in the market. But what happens now is that once an opportunity comes up, it will immediately be in your inbox. You will be the first person to see it. So that added advantage is there as well. So you can see how we covered this inadequacy of finding irrelevant opportunities. So now you have the right tools. You have the right tool to find the proper opportunities, and find opportunities that are not dated. So hopefully that clears up a lot of the issues surrounding finding seeing opportunities that were posted a long time back, and that makes no sense to you at the moment. So what we're going to do next, I've covered this already. I spoke about how you can set a job alert. So initially this was essentially an alert, but now it's turned into a follow button, through which you'll get emails that daily as to when new jobs come in pertaining to this search. So okay, now that we have sent out now we've applied to all the relevant opportunities. Now you know how to find relevant opportunities and you've applied to relevant opportunities. Now what do we do? Because now the second issue comes in. So you've applied but you don't know how to follow up, you have no clue. Because generally when it comes to job search platforms, there's no information displayed as to who posted the opportunity or who to get in touch with. You'll just know which company has posted the opportunity. So the best chance you have is to just call up their office number and ask if you can connect to someone, which generally, which in most cases doesn't work. So we need a more targeted approach. So how this works is you have to use tools like LinkedIn and the business to B2B tool that I mentioned earlier, which is Lusha. So using these platforms can help you, reach out to individuals when it comes to the job applications that you've submitted, and also generally reaching out to find out job opportunities and networking with individuals, so that if something comes up in their knowledge, you are notified of it and you can get referrals and so on and so forth. So now we want to establish relationships with these people, right? So so we'll be covering it once again step by step. So what we'll do is we'll cover effective LinkedIn searches to find recruiters. So once again, LinkedIn also has filters through which you can network with professionals in the industry. You can expand your network, through which LinkedIn works in such a way that once you expand your network, you get access to even more individuals. So if they're a mutual connection, you'll get their profile also will be visible to you. So that's the power of networking in LinkedIn. So in LinkedIn, generally all the profiles will not be visible to you. More and more profiles will be visible as you expand your network, because of this mutual profiles. If you have a mutual connection, the profiles will be visible to you, that sort of thing. So and finally, let's say once you find the right person to connect with, there's always that question of how to connect with this individual and how to craft the right message, and have to foster a two-sided conversation. So we'll get down to that as well. So in LinkedIn as well, the same system of a Boolean search works. So in this case, now you can dissect this search query that I have prepared. So you can see here, I am willing to work as a civil intern or a civil engineer, or as an engineer trainee, or as a quantity surveyor, or as a site engineer. So I've separated all of them using OR operators, and I've included brackets. And this is generally not needed in most cases, because LinkedIn also sort of narrows searches based off of the location you're at. But this helps, in some cases, that LinkedIn sometimes LinkedIn, what it does is that sometimes your search results are spread over a far enough area. So if you're living in a small country, for example, like Qatar, some of the opportunities that you see are from other Middle East countries. So this helps as well. So I've pasted the search query in LinkedIn, and now I'll search. So as you can see, we have gotten the search results and we're on the jobs tab. So what we'll be doing is, instead of the jobs tab, we'll be switching to the posts tab. The reason why is because all the jobs that are in the jobs tab would have already been visible to you in your Boolean search done in Google. So what we're going to do is we want to explore a few more opportunities which otherwise may not be visible to you, which you'll find in the posts tab. So we'll be going to the posts tab. So I'll click posts. I just want posts only. So when you're going through job results in LinkedIn, it's important to read everything thoroughly, look at who's posting, and not go about clicking every link that you see, because not all of them are relevant. So you'll have to find, ideally, the ideal case is that you'll find a job opportunity that has been posted by an individual working as a recruiter or a technical professional working for a company. So you want to find those job opportunities. So that's easy. Instead of looking at posts made by pages like these, it would be wise to, let's say, if you can go down. So this is in Oman. This is not relevant. I'm talking in terms of opportunities here in Doha. So so Doha might have been some sort of a keyword or a hashtag here. So that's how this showed up. So I'm looking for individuals who've posted opportunities in Doha. So all you can see, these are all from pages, and even this is from a recruitment agency, and you can see these links itself. It doesn't look, uh, you know, it looks sketchy. So we'll go past that and we look only for opportunities that are from individuals working as recruiters or working as technical professionals at a particular uh, at a particular company. So yeah, so okay, now we've come across one. So this is an individual who's the CFO of a company. So you can see they're hiring for certain roles. So what you can do now is, these opportunities are very good because of two reasons. Number one is they'll generally give out the email to these opportunities are not found by everyone. That's the first reason, because this does not show up in if you just search for jobs in LinkedIn, or if you don't go through the posts, this will not be visible to you. So naturally, we've already narrowed down the number of applicants for these roles. So, and you can directly send this to their email. And number two, who's hiring for the role. So once it's done, you can directly connect with them on LinkedIn. So that's the good thing about this. So you found one. Now once again, no, this is a job search page. So it will take a while for you to get the hang of it. But once I'm just going through the process so that you can see how my mind works, and generally you can tailor your approach that way similarly. So okay, once again, you see this is also posted by an individual who's a recruitment specialist, which is, the moment you see recruitment or HR, so this is the right person to follow up with as well. So you can see they're hiring for a civil supervisor. Once again, his direct email is mentioned, so you can get in touch directly, and you can follow up as well. So what this opens, once again, you can see these roles, and all of them are this is a month ago, this was just 3 weeks ago. So once again, you can find another opportunity which is directly posted by a professional working at that company. And once again, once you come down, you can see all of these, but you'll have to look for the exact. Ideally, the person posting the job should be posting the job for a particular company, should be working at that company itself. So once again, you can see, once again, I'm going down. Okay, yeah. So this is an individual who's working at an electromechanical company, and they're posting it for that same company itself. So these are the opportunities that we want to go for. And once, as I mentioned, there are two advantages. Number one, the number of applicants are already much lesser for opportunities like this, and number two, you can follow up directly. So what we're going to do next is, so now you found these opportunities, you applied for these opportunities, and now you want to follow up, right? So what this happens is, most of these individuals who post jobs on LinkedIn, especially like I showed you, there's a recruiter who posted. So these people are generally active on LinkedIn. So what you can do is, you can send them to send your resume, send your credentials to the email that they've mentioned, and then connect with them on LinkedIn and ask them for an update. So you might not get an update from everyone, but if you tailor your message the right way and you approach them the right way, you will definitely get a response. So you can and it starts step by step. What maybe for the first 20 or 30 people that you message, you might not get a response, because there might be, let's say, certain your message might not be, your approach might not be right, your message might not have the right tone. But once you start messaging more and more people, and you sort of get an idea of what is working when it comes to interacting with people, or what is working when it comes to reaching out to people, you'll develop an idea, and slowly you'll start tailoring your message the right way. So I'll also give you tips on how to tailor your message when it comes to approaching people for following up with your application soon. So it's important to connect with these people, because let's say if for this certain job opportunity you're not considered, but what happens is that if you establish and develop a network with these individuals, what happens is that naturally, if any new opportunities come up, these individuals themselves will refer you. And recruiters often have connections with each other. So what happens is that, through their network, if they find out there's an opportunity available, they'll get in touch with you. And this might even be an opportunity that's not directly from them. They might have heard it from somewhere, and then they'll get back to you. So that's the power of establishing a strong network with a good number of individuals. So we'll be going next to finding out who to establish this relationship with. So initially, like I said, you can connect with these individuals who are posting these jobs, and you can connect with them. If not, you can also go on to let's say, for example, I noticed that I noticed some of the firm names here. So what I can do is I can actually go out, I can actually type in the company name, and then I can search for individuals there. But initially I'll show you a simpler way. Let's say if you don't know any company names, or you don't know the organizations that are there in the industry, let's say simply ask yourself the question as to where you want to be in 5 years. So if you're working as a quantity surveyor, I'm taking an example. Let's say if you work as a quantity surveyor, if you want to work as a quantity surveyor, ideally in 5 years you would want to work as a senior quantity surveyor or as a quantity surveying lead, right? So what we'll be doing is we'll be typing in senior quantity surveyor. So once I've typed this, so you can see so here we want to connect with people. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on people, and you can see there are a lot of individuals that you can connect with who hold high positions in major companies here. And as you search, you will find individuals who hold these posts in the place that you're searching from. So what you can do is you can connect with individuals here, and you can message them. Let's say it can be one of two ways. Either you can connect for the company. Let's say you've applied to a certain company. You can actually search for that company in LinkedIn, and then you can go to the people in that company. For example, let's say I'm just picking a random firm here in Doha. So I'm picking a random contractor in Doha, a tier 1 contractor. Let's say there's a job opportunity from, let's say, Gulf Contracting. So if I go onto their page, so I can actually search for people who work in this organization, and I can search for the role as well. So you can search employees by the title, keyword, or school. So I want senior quantity surveyors. You might not find the exact fit, but if you can tweak your search here and there, you'll get to find the right person to connect with. So senior quantity surveyor. Okay, so now you found senior quantity surveyors who work for this company. So let's say if this company had a role that was open, what you could do is you could initially apply, and then you could connect with these individuals to find out, let's say, what does the QS department exactly do at Gulf Contracting? What is expected from a quantity surveyor who wants to work for Gulf Contracting? What is the company culture there? And and so on. So the thing is to be proactive here, is to apply, and then find ways to follow up on your application, find ways as to how to get to that interview, let's say. So I'll be moving on to how to approach these people the right way. So the point that I'm trying to make is that the issue that a lot of us face is that we apply to jobs and then we don't know what to do. So I'm trying to help you guys, trying to gear you in the right direction in terms of what you can do once you've submitted your application, right? So once again, what these individuals are is, number one, you can find out more about the company that you've applied to, and number two, these individuals are where, like I said in the beginning, where you want to be in 5 years. So you can find exactly, because these people would have also started off as freshers or in junior level roles. So what you can do is you can ask them questions. You can try to find out how they got to where they are, which is very important, because let's say you're going to attend an interview, right? So what the interviewer is going to look for is individuals with the same mindset as them, individuals, because they're already there, and they're at the position where you see yourself, or where you want to be in 5 years, right? So ideally, you should be like them, or you should model yourself after them. So it's very good to speak to these individuals and get a sense of, the areas that you can improve in, and they themselves, if you establish a connection the right way, and like I said, if you foster a two-sided, two-way conversation and you have a good relationship, they'll be willing to review your resume, your CV, um, you know help you in areas where you lack in, and give you feedback as to how you could improve, and get to the level where the company would consider you. Another great LinkedIn feature that you can leverage is your alumni network. So I'll show you how that works as well. So if you noticed while I was scrolling down in the Gulf contracting page, you would have noticed a certain line here that says, an individual and another school alum work here. So if you click that, you'll find these individuals who work at that company where you're looking for opportunities in. Or in general, you can just search for your alum matter. So I can just search and I can find individuals. Let's say I'll show you how this works. So I'll go about to the alumni section, and even in this alumni section, I can actually search by company, I can search by title, I can search by any keyword I want. So let's say if I'm looking to apply in a certain company, I can search that company name, and I can find individuals who work in that company. Or let's say I want to search by title. Let's say I want to work in the quantity surveying field, and I want to find individuals who worked in this field for a long time in senior level roles. So I can search for individuals that way as well, and I can connect with these individuals. So this once again has an added benefit to it, that is that you've studied in the same university, so the chances of them replying to you is much higher. So a lot of us, we don't use this, this advantage that you get, through LinkedIn. In LinkedIn, like I said, if you simply search for a company name, you'll get a single line that says, certain alumni work in this company, and you can just click that and you can find out exactly who it is. So that's an added advantage that LinkedIn offers you as well. So please make sure to use that as well. So after that, what we'll be moving on to is Lusha. Lusha is a business-to-business platform that we use in our day-to-day operations here to connect to businesses. But in my time using it, what I've noticed is that you can use this platform as well to find people to connect with after you've applied for a job, and you can follow up regarding your application, and try to get feedback as well. So how this works is that you'll sign in using a work email ID, and once you sign in, this is the platform that you get. So once you get this platform, let's say you can go to prospecting in order to find individuals in the company that you have applied to. So how this works is that there are lots of filters here. It works with a credit-based system, which I'll explain to you later. So what you can do now is you can see there are many filters here, including company name, the location, the industry, etc., and so on. So let's say you've applied for a role. So we'll take the earlier example of the company name that I've mentioned. So you've applied for an opening in Gulf contracting. So I can just type in Gulf contracting. So you'll see the first result is Gulf contracting. So you can click Gulf contracting, and what you'll do is you'll find individuals who work at Gulf contracting. So Lusha essentially presents data to you with 3 different data points to you. So you can get their email IDs, you can get their mobile numbers, and you can get their office phone numbers. Generally, not all of the information is available for all of the individuals on the platform, but in many cases, at least the email is available, and in many cases, the phone number is available as well. So what you can do is, how this works is, let's say for an individual, you'll click their name, and then you can see, their relevant details. So it's all hidden, and it works in a credit-based system. So once you click show details, credits will be used from your account, and their email ID, and in this case their mobile number, will be visible. And here you can view your credit balance. So generally when you open an account, you will get 5 phone credits, and you will get I believe it's 50 email credits. And you can increase the number of credits that are assigned to you by doing a few things like enabling them in your Chrome browser, enabling the extension in your Chrome browser, and a few other things which can get you up to about 20 initial credits. And there's also a system whereby you join their community, which grants you 25 credits every 25 credits when you join their community, and it gives you 15 additional credits every month. So this basically covers all the follow-ups that you need to do, right? So what, let's say you apply to 15 different companies. What you can do is you can come on here, you can search for these 15 different companies, and you can find relevant individuals to connect to. And even, let's say, if the companies that you're applying to are multinational companies, in that case what you can do is you can even search, you set the location of the contact or set the location of the company HQ. So in case if it's a multinational company that has a company that has branches in different countries, what you can do is you can search for contacts only who are exactly where you want to be. So if you search, let's say if you're based in Mumbai, you can search for Mumbai and you can find all the candidates that are based in Mumbai only. And also, let's say if you want to connect to HR or you want to connect to recruiters specifically, what you can do is you can go on here. There's a section for department. So here you can search for HR. I believe it's mentioned as human resources. So you can search for human individuals who are a part of the human resource department. So there are a lot of things. You can search for individuals by seniority, if they're managers, they're directors. So if those are the individuals you want to connect with, you can do that as well. So what this also, it's like taking a huge step in terms of reducing the issues that you face when it comes to connecting with individuals to follow up after let's say you've put in your application for a job, right? So now you know how to connect to individuals on LinkedIn, you know how to use platforms, you know how to use Lusha as well to connect to individuals, to follow up on your applications, to get feedback once you've sent in the application for a job. So as I said, Lusha has all these filters as well, as I mentioned, based off of country, based off of seniority, based off of department, that you can use to filter your search and find out individuals who you need to connect with. So now we have covered the two main problems. Number one, now you know how to find relevant opportunities. I've showed you Boolean search, how you can use it in LinkedIn and how you can use it in Google. And now you know how to find relevant opportunities. Number two, now let's say you found these relevant opportunities and you've applied to these opportunities. You now know who to connect with once you have put your application in. So okay, those two bases are covered. Now the third base is how to approach these individuals, right? Because now you know who to connect with, but the question of how to connect with them still remains. So how you approach an individual can make a huge difference in sort of the amount of responses that you get. So first and foremost is to keep your message very simple and very concise. By very simple, I don't mean you just send a hi and you expect them to reply. That's not how it works, because you're not messaging a friend. You have to put your point across right in the beginning itself, but at the same time you have to make sure that you don't go about writing a lot of paragraphs and at the end the person on the other side doesn't even feel like reading through all of that content, right? So number one, keep it simple. Number two, keep it very concise. Keep your message very short and sweet. And number three, make it very personalized. So I'll go through a few common issues that I generally see when I see people messaging recruiters or let's say professionals in their domain. So number one, what people do is, as I said earlier, they'll just text them a hi. And this is, like I said, this is not like texting a friend in the sense that he will reply to you right then and there. Because when these individuals, let's say they either get onto LinkedIn or whatever platform you're messaging them on, it'll take time for them to it may take time for them to view your message, right? So if you're sending a message to them in the morning, and then when they view your message, it's in the evening, it's like you'll be, even if the person does respond to you, it'll be like you're exchanging pleasantries for like 2 or 3 days, which you don't want. You want to get your point across as quickly as possible. And the second issue that I faced is that the messages are not personalized. They're number one, they're either too long, or number two, they're not personalized. So uh, some some of the people, what they'll do is, they'll write down paragraph after paragraph of what they have done so far and what they're looking forward to, XYZ. And generally the human mindset is such that when you see such a long message, you'll just ignore it. So as I said, keep it simple and keep it short and make it personalized. So if it's something that you've asked, just if you've typed out the same thing and you send it to 100 different people, it does not make any sense. So you have to look into the individual that you're sending this message to. So as I said, if you're connecting with them on LinkedIn, you can definitely see where they work, where they've studied, what projects that they've been a part of. So the key is to tailor your message in such a way that there is some reference to the things that they've done, some appreciation that you can give for the work that they've done work that they've done in their roles. So that helps in getting a response. So the initial part about being simple and concise, try to keep your messages to about 100 or 150 words at most. Ideally, if you can keep it at 100 words and still deliver the message, that would be great, because that catches the eye. And when it comes to getting a response, an important element is providing a call to action. So let's say you draft a message. If the message ends in such a way that it just says, please let me know if any opportunities come by, and then you end the message that way, right? Because I've seen a lot of messages that way. They'll send they'll send in a resume, and then they'll mention, I'm looking for opportunities in this domain, and they would be very grateful if I referred them, or if I let them know of any possible opportunities. So there's no call to action. So I look at that. If I don't have any opportunities in my mind at the moment, or at the firm that I'm working at, at the moment, I'll just not reply. I might just say, okay, I will, and then I'll just leave it there. So the thing is to develop a conversation, right? So in that, you have to provide a good call to action, in the sense that one good example would be, you can ask something about the project that they've worked on, what major responsibility that they've undertaken, some challenge that they've faced in their career. And you can just say that you would like to improve yourself, and you can support them, because a lot of people, they take up freelance projects as well. So you can say that you would like to help them with XYZ, you would love to be a part of their journey as well, and basically give them something to act upon, or give them something to reply to. So let's say you ask them some challenge that they faced at their role, right? So that is a good that's a good icebreaker. People like to talk about themselves, and generally when you ask a question about themselves, they would be very much willing to reply. So the thing is to start off a conversation that way, rather than just dumping all that you have to say, and then not even including a question. Ask them something about themselves, and slowly let the conversation develop. So once you let a conversation develop this way, it could proceed to a mentorship. They could mentor you in terms of how you are to model yourself. You could ask them for an informational interview as well. So what you're doing is you're essentially establishing a two-way conversation, which is very important in order to build a strong relationship. The conversation should not be just you talking and him replying with just a yes or no. So another important thing, like I mentioned, if they're working on anything on their own, offer help, because the sort of referral that you will get once you've proven yourself to such an individual is incredible, because now they know your competence, and they will refer you for any opportunities that come in their network. So as I mentioned, now you've learned a little bit about how to establish these relationships, right? So now you know how to approach these people. So finally, in order to stitch everything together, you need to stay organized, because you'll be applying at a lot of companies. Let's say uh, you'll be applying, maybe you'll be applying through different job sites, but we've avoided that for now because we're going to be going, you know we're going to be finding these opportunities right through Google. But even then, Google redirects you to different job sites, and that's where you'll be applying through LinkedIn. So you need to keep track of all the applications, that you've sent in, and you're waiting for a reply, and so on and so forth. Because another thing, what I've noticed, what happens is that, let's say once you submit multiple applications, and from out of the blue you receive a call from a company, right, for to which you've applied to. And they ask you whether you remember you've applied to them for a particular role, and you won't remember, to be honest. So you have to avoid that sort of scenario. Let's say if somebody calls you, you should remember exactly what role you've applied for, when you applied to that role, and things like that. And it generally helps in the follow-up process as well. Let's say you've applied for 20 companies, right? So once that is done, now you need to follow up with individuals in those companies. So you'll use LinkedIn, as I mentioned, or you might use Lusha. So you will detail that job search process, preferably in an Excel sheet. So you'll note down all the companies that you've applied to, and what you're going to do to follow up with these companies. So you'll note down a list of individuals who you're going to connect with to follow up on your application, right? So you sent a message. If you receive a response, you will update it accordingly. If you don't receive a response, you'll send a follow-up message. You can set the time according to what you feel is right, usually let's say 1 week or so, and then you send them a follow-up message. If they still don't reply, you'll try to find someone new to send a message to and follow up. So if you stay organized, all this becomes incredibly easy. You have a good grasp of where you applied to, how your follow-up is going, and in case, let's say, you get feedback, you can incorporate that as well. You can note that down, and then you can incorporate that into future applications that you submit, right? So that is one part, staying organized. And then to cap it off, one more thing that you can do is, let's say now you're sending messages, right? So I've told you to personalize it. So you look at individuals' profiles, and you'll try to personalize your messages. You'll ask them more about what they do, and the challenges they've faced, and the lessons that they've learned, etc. But there are issues that a lot of us face when trying to draft messages ourselves. Maybe we might have grammatical errors, or our spellings may not be correct. So in this day and age, there is no reason for any of those things to happen, because we have all the tools at our disposal to make sure that issues like this don't happen. So there are tools like Grammarly, which you can use to proofread all the content that you sent to individuals. So anything that you write, you can just throw that in, and then you can check if it's free of any grammatical errors or any spelling errors. And once again, you have the best tools of all in AI, best tools of all in ChatGPT or Gemini. With the advent of AI, it's very easy to draft messages to individuals, and to convey the message that you want to convey. So, but it's important to make sure that you use it as your voice. The ideas that you want to convey are conveyed through ChatGPT. It should not be the other way around, where you just ask ChatGPT for a random generic message and then you send it just like that. You should know exactly what to ask, and then you should ask GPT if they can frame it the right way, right? That's how it should work. Rather than getting a generic message from them, you should be like, a simple prompt would be, I want to ask them, I want to get a feedback on my application, but I want to be kind, I want to provide a call to action. And let's say you can also give them the biodata of the individual that you plan to connect with, and you can be like, what questions could I ask to find out more about this individual and to foster a conversation with them, right? So that way, a GPT will give you a highly personalized response, and even that, tweak it to your liking. Because when you read a message that's drafted by AI, you definitely know that it's AI. So rather than just copying and pasting, switch up a few words. Make sure that there's a personal, touch and feel to every message that you send. So that is important. And you have a lot of tools to paraphrase writing as well, including Spinbot, Quillbot, and Spinbot, Quillbot, Hemingway, and more. So these are all paraphrasing tools that you can use to change and switch up the language. And ideally, you should be doing it by yourself from the message that ChatGPT gives you. So once you do these things, once you stay organized, once you start putting a lot of effort into the messages that you send individuals, you will definitely notice a difference. And you'll go from receiving no responses in sending 30 messages to receiving to having over 25% to 30% of individuals who respond to your messages because you're approaching them the right way. So that's it for today. So I hope I've been able to tackle a few issues that you might be facing in your job search process, and I've been able to cover a few strategies that might be of help for you in the future. So if anything comes up, do get in touch with our team, and we'll be more than happy to support you with any queries that you have or any issues that you face. So thank you very much for your time once again, and I hope to connect with you all once again.